Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 434 of NoDQ&AV video. 434, the number of days that CM Punk was the WWE Champion. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift regarding Elimination Chamber and Raw. So let's get started here with the first one today from Tay. Hey Aaron, longtime viewer, first time asker. Please answer in video. With The Undertaker's return and his appearance with his old Lucifer-style beard, does this mean the Attitude Era is returning? You know how I have to answer this one.
No.
Anyways, on to the serious questions here. From Gravy Sticks. Will WrestleMania 30 replace WrestleMania 9 as the worst ever? You got a title match no one wants to see. Brock Lesnar's style doesn't work with Taker's age. Daniel Bryan not getting his deserved spot. No Rhodes Brother match, no Punk, and Shield vs. Wyatt should have been saved for WrestleMania. Comparing it to WrestleMania 9 is quite a bold move there. Let's take a look at this card for WrestleMania 30, starting off with Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. You mentioned that Lesnar's style doesn't work with Taker's age. When Undertaker only has to go out there and work once a year, he can go all out. I think that you're not giving Undertaker enough credit. In my opinion, Brock Lesnar and Undertaker will most likely be an excellent match, and I think that they will deliver. I think it will be really good stuff, and I like the angle that they did to set up the match with Undertaker stabbing Brock Lesnar's hand with the pen. I thought that was awesome, and just the stare down between those two. I mean, they have the chemistry with each other, and they've had great matches in the past. You know, the Hell in the Cell match back in 2002, and yes, it is 12 years later, but Undertaker has had a year to heal up and prepare for this match, and Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar, and I'm fairly confident that this will be a great match. Now, regarding Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, yes, it's not the triple threat match that people want to see, but on the other hand, they've been building up this storyline now since SummerSlam, where Triple H has been screwing Daniel Bryan night after night, and now it's Daniel Bryan's time to finally get his hands on Triple H and get his payback. So, the match does make sense logically, and I know people are going to be unhappy about him not being in the title match, but I'm sure that Daniel Bryan and Triple H will be another strong match. I think it has a lot of potential. Randy Orton versus Batista, not so sure how that's going to work. I mean, it's obvious that a lot of the fans do not want to see this match, and there's a very good chance it's going to get booed out of the building. I'm not sure what to expect other than the fact that the crowd is going to crap on it, and I'm not sure how WWE is going to handle that. But it should be interesting to watch. And regarding Cena versus Bray Wyatt, I'm perfectly fine with that match, and I'm surprised people are complaining because John Cena is actually not in a top match. I mean, it's still a big match for WrestleMania, but it's not like John Cena's in there with The Rock. He's in there with a younger talent. And, I like the fact that it's actually elevating Bray Wyatt, if anything. So I'm perfectly fine with that match. And, there's still several weeks until WrestleMania for the card to continue to be built up. And, the matches get their promotion. And, it's too early to say that it's going to be a bad card. And certainly to say it's going to be as bad as WrestleMania 9, I mean, that's just not going to happen. I don't think that it would even come close to being as bad as WrestleMania 9. And even the worst of the most recent WrestleManias, WrestleMania 27, that wasn't even as bad as WrestleMania 9. All right, this one comes from Dave451985. Since they are apparently turning Batista heel, does that mean that they are going to try and turn Randy Orton face? That's an interesting question, and Randy Orton actually got a pretty big face pop on Raw, and Batista is one of those guys right now that can make any hated heel a beloved babyface, and Alberto Del Rio is a perfect example. So, I mean, by default, Randy Orton might become a face, but the thing is, even if WWE tried to make Randy Orton a face, and, Randy Orton's been a heel for, since SummerSlam, and turning him face, I think, would be too soon, but, they might have no other choice. But even if they did turn Randy Orton face, I still see both guys getting booed at WrestleMania. I think that the crowd would only cheer Orton because of the fact that they hate Batista so much. But, I could see the crowd chanting, you both suck, and just crapping on the whole match and not even cheering for Orton that much. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle this dynamic between Batista and Orton. Batista, in my opinion, should be the heel, and there's no point in trying to keep him as a babyface. And WWE was playing up the fact that Batista was getting booed. Batista pointed to the Batista signs. The announcers brought up the negative chants, and the camera angles were showing the people in the crowd booing. So I think it's clear WWE knows they have to go in that direction. You can't keep trying to make Batista a babyface when the crowd just doesn't want to cheer him. All right, and I got another question here. If Orton versus Batista is still happening as is, where do you think it will be on the card? If it is the last match, it will be booed out of the building, but anywhere but last hurts the title's meaning, so what do they do? Once again, another interesting question here. How do you have this match on pay-per-view and not make it the final match? I mean, it is for the WWE World title, and that match should be the main event at WrestleMania. But if you put this match on last, it's definitely, it would get booed out of the building at the middle of the show, but at the end of the show, it would be a complete disaster, I think. And I think maybe putting it on second to last would be the best way to go, and then close it with Undertaker and Lesnar. That's just my opinion on it. But once again, we're going to have to wait and see how things play out between now and WrestleMania. There's still, about 6 weeks left until WrestleMania, so there's plenty of time to build up the card and see which matches are getting over and which matches are not. But in my opinion, the safest bet is to go with Undertaker and Lesnar as the main event. But certainly you want to have Orton and Batista right up there at the top when it's for the WWE World title. All right, this one comes from Wrestling God 88. Hey Aaron, in episode 433, you only talked about the ending to the Chamber match. What were your thoughts on the match excluding the ending? Personally, I thought everyone had a strong showing, even the jobbers. I enjoyed the match. I thought that besides the finish, it was one of the better Elimination Chamber matches, and I liked the fact that nobody was eliminated until, 26 minutes into the match. And I thought everybody looked strong. Christian looked strong. Sheamus looked strong in defeat because he lasted the 26 minutes. Cesaro had a great showing. I was happy with how the match was booked and laid out. And, there were some cool moments in the match, like Christian doing the frog splash. So, I say the match was very good. And, the ending was very predictable, but it is what it is. And, it wasn't a surprise or anything. You knew going in that there was going to be a screw job, and you were going to have the Wyatts coming out and Kane coming out. I mean, you knew what you were getting when you ordered the pay-per-view. So to me, it's not like you got some sort of screw job out of nowhere. I mean, it was very predictable. But as far as the execution of the match, I thought it was very well done. All right, this next one comes from Burrs Do Lion. Hey Aaron, love the show. What do you make of Jim Cornette's shoot interviews, such as Breaking Kayfabe, Guest Booker, and so forth? Well, I've seen some of Jim Cornette's shoot promos. I haven't seen all of them, but anytime Jim Cornette has a chance to speak his mind, it's always extremely entertaining. Jim Cornette's one of the most entertaining personalities in the wrestling business, not just as an on-screen performer, but also when he's talking about the behind the scenes in the wrestling business. Jim Cornette is an extremely intelligent guy, and he always has an opinion, and especially when he has a temper, he's very fun to watch. And Jim Cornette's a one-of-a-kind guy, and I would highly recommend any of his interviews. He's always something else. So, I love Jim Cornette. I love when he goes to Dairy Queen and they screw up the order and he cusses out the worker. Jim Cornette is a boss, no doubt. All right, this next one comes from WWE fan Dark Arrow. Hey Aaron, do you think that WWE will let Rey Mysterio go after his contract is up? That's an interesting question because on one hand, Rey Mysterio is important to the Hispanic market, but at the same time, he's not as big of a deal as he used to be. And Rey Mysterio has been getting injured a lot, and I don't know if WWE wants to continue investing in him when he is such a risk of getting hurt, and then you have to push him again when he comes back, and it starts and it stops. It might be time for Rey Mysterio to move on. I mean, he has been in WWE for many years now, and I don't know if his body can keep up with the hectic schedule and working on a full-time basis. I think it might be best for Rey Mysterio to maybe leave WWE, and he can continue wrestling, but maybe on a lower scale, maybe working for the independents and working in Mexico and so forth. I just don't know if his body can handle the schedule anymore. All right, this next one comes from the Hardcore Guy. Hey, Aaron, apparently Mark Henry said that he'll retire when his contract expires. What are your thoughts on that? Well, it's a similar situation to Rey Mysterio. Mark Henry has been in WWE for almost 20 years now, and he's gotten hurt a lot. Mark Henry has had a lot of injuries, and I could see him retiring once this current contract ends. With Rey Mysterio, I think that if Rey leaves WWE, he'll continue to wrestle, in other promotions. But with Mark Henry, he's made very good money in WWE over the years, so it's not like he needs to keep wrestling. And I could very well see him just walking away and calling it a career. But then again, once you get bitten by the wrestling bug, it's hard to walk away and not come back. So for both guys, Rey Mysterio and Mark Henry, it's hard to say that they'll really walk away for good. I mean, once you're in the limelight, it's hard to just go away and leave that life behind you. But we'll see. I mean, I think that it could go either way with both guys. All right, final question today from I Am Kelton. Hey, Aaron, if Chris Benoit had never passed away, do you think we would have seen Benoit and Undertaker at WrestleMania? Please answer in video. Honestly, I don't think we would have seen that match. You have to keep in mind that Chris Benoit was starting to be pushed down the card at the time that he died. Chris Benoit was drafted to ECW, and the plan was for him to be the top star of ECW, which is the third brand. And I'm guessing that eventually Chris Benoit would have transitioned into a trainer role and maybe working with guys in NXT. I think that would have been Benoit's future. I don't think that he was going to be in a match with Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think that Benoit had already passed his peak in WWE as a top superstar. So I don't think that match would have happened. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A Video. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQ&AW. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding the network and WrestleMania 30. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time for more.